Today we have a session. Nobaba Erick Sithole, a wonderful man, a visionary leader, a man really brought up to lead in these times like these. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly jump into our leadership session today, which is going to be a power-packed session with our thought leader today, Mr. Erick Sithole. Sir, I'd like to welcome you today. I'd like to greet you.
So you are welcome to Nsikayezwe Global and to Nsikayezwe Management Consultants.
Wonderful.
Finally, you made it.
Finally, we are here. We are here.
Mm.
We have been trying to get this done for quite some time now.
I know.
And setting up certain logistics. So I'm happy we were able to finally come through and get this done. All right. So just to jump into it, I have a thought to share with you. Okay. So one of the people I follow by the name of Simon Sinek, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He gave this narrative on leadership. He says, to be a leader requires one thing and one thing only. And that thing is to have followers. So if you put that into perspective, it means leadership has nothing to do with your title or your rank. It has to do with whether people are willing to follow you. So you can be a leader in any place, in any sector, at any given time. If you can inspire action in people and have them follow your leading. So what is your perspective on that?
No, I think many people are making mistakes about that statement. That's why they are getting it wrong. Because as far as I know, leadership has nothing to do with followers. Yes, as you are leading, there are some, or there are people that will be looking up to you, that will be inspired by what you are doing. But the main goal of leadership is not to get followers. That's where we need to define leadership, because if we say we need to have followers, it's something that came from Greece. The Greeks invented that. They said for you to lead, then you must have what? Followers. And I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that, because leadership, when it comes to my understanding and my definition of leadership, there are so many definitions out there, but my one that I've, since I grew up when I was 23, 24, I discovered it's not about followers, but about self-discovery. That's leadership. You have another author that also says leadership is about influence. So it means when you are influential, then you become a leader. Now, I have a problem with that, because you can be a bad influence, or you can be a good influence. But still, that doesn't make you a leader. Leadership has to do with you meeting yourself. That's the point. You discovering the reason why you were born. The moment you discover that, that's when leadership begins. In history, you have Moses growing up in Egypt. One day, he sees an Egyptian fighting what? The Hebrew. What did he do? Something inside told him that he must defend one of them.
And he decided to defend the Hebrew.
He decided to defend the Hebrew. On that day, Moses discovered himself. But he was growing in Egypt. He also realized that since I've decided to kill an Egyptian, let me run for my life, because they might kill me. That's leadership. So he met himself on that day. I remember telling people, people always ask me, when did you discover yourself as Erick Nsikayezwe Sithole? And it's simple. It was on the 4th of September 2009. Because I had questions about life. I had questions why I was born. Those questions were not answered. On that day, the 4th of September 2009, I was in my apartment. I was very young. I think I was 23. Then those deep thoughts, some of those questions were answered, and I wrote them down. On the following day, I remember I went to, because I was still living at Tempangini at that particular point in time. The following day, then I went to my pastor, Babu Sithole in Tempangini. Then I said to him, from 2010, please do me a favor. I don't want to lead committees in the church, because I was a youth leader in the church. I was very active in the church. Said, no, I want others to come in and lead and participate. I have discovered something about myself. I want to embark on a journey. I want to become myself. He was an old man. He was confused. Said, no, do you want to be a pastor? I said, no, it's not about being a pastor. It's not about being a pastor. I've discovered something about myself. And I've realized, for me to achieve what I've just written down, I need to start this journey from 2010. So I need to start developing myself. I need to start preparing myself. So that's how I met myself.
You met yourself.
That's how I met myself.
You know, one of the most remarkable people in when you talk about leadership, I believe most of us follow him, Mr. John Maxwell. He says something very profound. He says, the two most important days in any person's life, the most important events in an individual's life is the day you are born and the day you find out why. So I believe when you speak about the narrative of leadership being when you meet yourself, I believe that really, confirms what he says. It's the day you find out why. That's self-discovery.
That's the crux of the matter, because you can live your life but living somebody else's life. Remember now, before I discovered myself, I will imitate people. I will see somebody, or I will see TDJs doing something and I want to be like TDJs.
Absolutely.
I will see Victor Mahlaba doing something, I want to be like Victor. See, but up until you meet yourself, then you realize, okay, maybe I'm not even supposed to be here. Maybe my life is not here.
You belong somewhere.
I belong somewhere. Then you've discovered yourself. So I think many people must go through that process where you meet yourself. Remember now, and I always teach these young people, some signs that you have not discovered yourself. You want to wear these expensive clothes. You wear a certain lifestyle. You dress in a certain way because you think, if I dress up, people will validate what I'm doing. But once you've discovered yourself, you don't need other people's validation.
Yes.
Discover yourself, then start the process of becoming. That's the most important thing. Once you've discovered yourself, then start the process of becoming yourself.
Babu Sithole, here's my question. What does it mean to you to lead? I know leadership is an aspect of many things in life, and being a leader is foundational because you lead your own life. As you said, discovery. The day you discover yourself, that's when you meet yourself, right? And that starts your journey to leadership. So what does it mean to you to lead?
I will put it in simple terms, like my mentor once did. Nothing grows without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership. Nothing advances without leadership. So where there is no leadership, people suffer. Where there is bad leadership, people suffer. In the absence of leadership, people cry in the absence of leadership. So always you must notice, when there is a leader, order is born. Once you see a leader, you must know there will be order. So leadership brings order. Leadership brings what's called stability. Leadership brings growth where there was no growth. Leadership brings confidence where there was no confidence. Leadership brings discipline where there was no discipline. So these are different characteristics of a person who is a leader. He comes or she comes with these things. So as a result, just go back into America, where there was a lot of injustice. Martin Luther King came in and said, we will fight this. This is what we call leadership. So the point is, we were not born to do same things. We were born to do different things. So you lead in the area of your gifting. That's how Masmaro put it. You lead in the area of your gifting. So that's why I said earlier, you might discover that today we are struggling with HIV and AIDS. But I believe someone somewhere does have a cure. Maybe the person has not discovered himself or herself that I need to go into the medical field
and lead
and make sure that I'm the one who will discover that. Others were born to be in politics and make sure that we get the right leadership in government. Others were born to go into the corporate world, start companies that will bring life to people, not companies that will take life from people. Others were born just to lead the education sector.
Absolutely.
We have a problem. If you look at our education is not matching the needs or because if you look at our economy and our education, we've got more graduates sitting at home. Graduates, which means our education, somewhere, somehow with our economy is not matching. So it's unstructured somewhere. So others were born just to do that, to bring the right kind of education into our system in South Africa and in the world. So that's why the element of self-discovery is very important. You can't take it out from leadership. There is a person who must develop a robot that will scan people when they are sick. So if that person has not discovered himself or herself, then we have a problem. Which means the person is robbing us something. The cure is available, but people have not discovered themselves. So to me, leading has to do with self-discovery and bringing all the elements I've already listed earlier. That's how you lead.
So tell me, in knowing what leading is, what does being a leader mean? Because you know what leading is now, but coming to terms with what is your responsibility as your leader is a different thing. So what does it mean to be a leader now?
I think it's remember we said it's not about being a person of influence.
Yes,
that's number one.
It's not having followers.
It's not having followers. So those are already out, because you can have followers and you can mislead your followers.
Yeah,
you can be an influencer but being a bad influence. For instance, you have got terrorist group.
They are leading people. They are followers.
So you've got terrorist group. They will say, I have a leader. My leader is so and so. My leader taught me that it's okay to kill people. Definitely that's not leadership. That's not leadership. Leadership, that's why in our company we say we are doing what? Advancing humanity. Leadership has to do with advancing humanity.
Leadership is not necessarily.
It doesn't destroy. Leadership does not destroy. Hence, I said, in this company, we're going to just focus on 4 disciplines or areas of leadership: state affairs, political affairs, corporate affairs, and societal. Because I think these are the pillars of a society. You need the economy, you need companies, you need government, you need people, you need politics, and you need a society. So leadership in these areas is very important. So as a result, for instance, now going back to your question, which says,
what does it mean?
What does it mean to lead? It simply means you will have people who will make sure that wherever they are, they advance humanity in politics, in corporate world, in government, and in society. Let me give you an example. A leader cannot keep quiet when there is a pastor. Now I'm talking about societal leadership. I want to just give you a simple example. When there is a pastor who is feeding people snakes, therefore, if you have a leader in a society, you can't keep quiet. Because a leader cannot keep quiet while people are being abused, or while humanity, the dignity of humanity, is destroyed. So in a society, you can't have leaders who keep quiet when injustice is growing. Same thing applies in the corporate sector. When you have a leader cannot keep quiet if the corporate sector is taking from people instead of giving to people. If the corporate sector is using injustice or unjust method to grow. Let me make an example. If you have a company that will inflate prices so that they can make profit, so who's going to pay the price? The consumers or people? They're going to pay the price. But who's benefiting?
The company.
The company. So a leader cannot keep quiet if there's such. So leadership always expose work of darkness. So if you claim to be a leader, but you are failing to expose and to deal with the work of darkness or the evil deeds that we see in politics, that we see in corporate world, that we see in government, and that we see in society, you are not a leader. Because all people that we know today, who have become the public or our people we aspire to. For instance, if you look, many people will praise Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Many people will praise Kwame Nkrumah. Many people will praise Martin Luther King. Many people will praise Mother Teresa.
Yes.
So there are these people that we believe they were the greatest leaders that ever lived here on earth.
Figures, yes.
Yeah. Most of them, something made them to be angry. And then they said, if there's no other one who will destroy this, I will. That's leadership. That's why I said earlier, nothing grows, nothing changes, nothing develops, nothing advances without leadership. And that's leadership.
And you speak of Nelson Mandela, and I believe he is a phenomenal example, because he says, I think it was the Rivonia trial, and he said something with the effect of, this is a cause for which I am prepared to die.
I think that's it. I think that's the even today that statement.
That statement
keeps us going, because it's like what Martin Luther King once said. He said, if you have not discovered something to die for, you are not fit to live. So your vision, because when you discover yourself a leader, you discover something so strong, tangible, that you are prepared to die for.
Yeah.
You must be prepared to die for what you've discovered. So if I say, I've discovered myself, for instance, I know there's a problem in Africa, and I've made it my call that I want to change how things work in Africa. There will always be pushback, and there's a risk that you can be eliminated in the process of doing those things.
Absolutely.
So if you're gonna be afraid and say, no, because I don't want to die, then again, you're not a leader.
Yeah.
A leader is not afraid to die. So leadership for me is when you've discovered yourself and you start the journey of becoming what you've discovered, no matter what. Even if death knocks at your door, but you'll still say, I will continue doing this, because when you take this from me, I'm a sad person as a dead person.
They say courage is not in the absence of fear. So even though you are surrounded by opposition and you have fear, right? But that is also an element that contributes to the courage you have, which also comes from the fact that you know what you sent to do. You said so yourself.
Yeah, that's why even I said earlier, leadership is not about followers. Because remember now, you can discover something that people will disagree with you. So no, but we don't agree with you on this one.
Yeah. But
if this is what you've discovered, if this is what you've discovered about yourself, pursue. As long as something that will not destroy people. Remember now the goal, that's why I always say advancing humanity. Advancing humanity. Because whatever that you've discovered, if you say, I was born to do this, we need to check whether what you were born to do will not destroy humanity. If it destroys humanity, it's not leadership, because leadership does not destroy. So once you say, this is what I was born to do, you must be prepared to suffer for that. Because leadership is not an easy task. It's not easy. It's not easy to be a leader. It comes with a lot of responsibility. Even your own family will disagree with you. They will disagree with you. People will disagree with you when you're a leader. But you must persist. As long as you know that I am okay. This is the right course. Because you find that, remember now, people respect something called consistency.
Yep.
People respect consistency. If I say something today, this is 2020, and people disagree with me, but I know that I am right here. And then you come back in 2025, I still repeat the same thing. Come back 2030, I still repeat, then you start respect this guy from 2020, he's been saying this. So you must be careful. That's why I always talk about values. You must be careful when you're a leader, that whenever you say something, do not confuse people by contradicting yourself, because people won't respect you. They will say, no, Erick, last year he said this, we believed him, then next year he changed,
he says another thing.
So this guy is confusing us. So be careful now. That's why when you make statements, don't talk too much.
What do you stand for?
Yeah, don't talk too much. Say a few words, and if people want you to explain, maybe in private, this is what I meant. But always make it clear to them that this is my main goal. This is what I want to see. This is the Africa I want. This is the world I want to see. That's why I want to say, one day I said, I see a world filled with selfless leaders. That's what I want. That's what I said one day. People said, no, you're a dreamer. I don't care. That's what I see. I see a world filled with selfless leaders in corporate sector, in government, in society, and in politics. Filled with selfless. So, and as a result, that's why we have Nsikayezwe Global. We have Nsikayezwe Leadership Program. We want to develop them. Because once you've discovered yourself, you must develop yourself. We must develop people. You must be developed. Allow people to develop yourself and then launch you into your field when you are ready.
So here's my next question. You've said a lot about leadership, and you've basically given us an in-depth explanation of what leadership is and what it means to lead. Now, the question is, how do we guide the youth? How do we guide the youth through these disturbing times? So how do we lead the youth, basically, in your perspective?
It works in two ways.
Okay.
Firstly, self-will. Do you know, I can tell you something today which is natural truth. And I can say, Temba, if you do this, these will be end results. But if you are not willing to take what I'm telling you, and then I have no control over that. I have no control over that. So it works in two ways. The youth must be able to discover themselves. That's their role. And we must help them to discover themselves. But secondly, they must be willing. They must have a heart. We must have a heart. Be able to listen to other people. We must allow people to guide you. Because as far as I know, you don't know everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know everything.
No question.
Even today, myself, I don't know everything. I always look for people to guide me. And I said in a previous interview, people were interested. No, Miles Monroe and Martin Luther King, those two shaped my life and they changed it completely. So whenever I'm looking for guidance in a critical area, I go back to their principles. I study their books and check how did they manage during a certain period, whether it was a crisis, a testing, how did they survive? So there must be people by your side who are guiding you, and you must be willing to be guided. Listen to their wisdom. Otherwise it won't work. So the youth, since we are in these disturbing times or testing times, challenging times, the first thing is, I always say this, crisis is not a bad thing. Sometimes you can find yourself through crisis. They need to know that. COVID-19 might be bad because some people have died. But I believe from COVID-19 we might have people who will become billionaires from this, who will discover who will find themselves during this period.
Absolutely.
And say, when there was COVID-19, I discovered myself. This is what I did to be where I am today. So first of all, that's where we start. Crisis is not a bad thing. You can discover yourself through a crisis. And thereafter, you must be willing to develop yourself. We're talking to the youth now. Discover yourself, be willing to develop yourself. Seek help. Seek advice. Allow people to develop yourself. And then I think those two are very important. Because even myself, certain people, I had to develop me. Some I've never met. I've never met Martin Luther King. He died a long time before I was born. Miles died in 2014. I never met him. But even today, they are still there, guiding me through their works, their books, their teachings. Yeah.
Babu Sithole, to wrap this up for us, to wrap up leadership for us, what are the 5 non-negotiable Nsikayezwe traits of leadership? What are those 5 non-negotiable traits of leadership from Nsikayezwe?
I think there are more than 5, but I will just summarize because number 1 to me, the first thing I ask you, have you discovered yourself? Have you discovered yourself? If you say no, then let's start the process, because we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna waste energy here if we are working with someone that's not discovered himself. A leader, you are a leader because you've discovered yourself. That's point number 1. It's when you discover your purpose. Self-discovery, non-negotiable. Secondly, you must initiate. And don't breathe frustration to the society. if there's a situation, initiate, come up with a solution. So you must be an initiator. Don't allow other people to initiate or call. So you must always initiate. Because I said nothing grows, nothing develops, nothing advances without leadership. Number 3, I said self-development. You must be able to develop yourself. I said 2010, I went to my past. I said 2009, I said, in 2010, I want to take a break from church. I like church. From Monday to Sunday, I was in church. But from 2010, I want to focus on developing Erick. And that's what I did. There was so much opposition. But brother, I persisted.
Fast forward 10 years. This is the guy we have.
This is what you see today. This is a result of what I did, the decision to develop myself. Fourthly, consistency. You must be consistent. Because remember I said people respect consistency. If you keep on saying one and the same thing, doesn't matter it's 20 years, if you know this is the truth. Do you know that, I always make this example, fish cannot live without water.
Yeah.
That's a principle right there. So find certain principles, make them your foundation, live on those foundations, live by those principles, and be consistent. Do not change. It's very important. Number 5, justice. Justice. I've never seen a leader that tolerates injustice. No, if you can tolerate injustice, you have ceased to be a leader. Leaders do not tolerate injustice. They fight injustice. You are seeing in America today, Black Lives Matter. And people have started already. Where is so and so? What is he saying?
Why is he quiet?
Why so and so is quiet? Now, I said to them, but they've never said they are leaders, by the way. They just have followers, million followers on Instagram and on Twitter. So what are you expecting them to do? They never declared themselves as leaders. So they confuse these things. That's why I said earlier, it's not about followers. It's about discovering yourself that I will never allow injustice to grow in my presence. That's leadership. If you can tolerate injustice, then you are not a leader. Those are 5. I said there's more, but I will just give you 5. Hoping that tomorrow, next day, we will complete the session.
Thank you so much, Sithole. Yes, we will have to come again and complete this session, and we can expound on the other traits that we didn't mention today about leadership. Yeah. So for today, we're wrapping up this leadership session. I think it has been a session that people can learn from. It has been a session that you can take something from. If you want to be a leader, you know where you need to start. The journey begins with you. Doesn't begin with anyone. The journey begins with your discovery. That's the day you will start. Start by leading your own life. Babu Sithole, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to come in and do this.